Okay, you guys, let me tell you about my buddy, Matt Rogers. Yeah, spent a lot of time in the trenches with Matt back in the day, getting in trouble. And anyway, Matt is a seriously good artist now. All my friends used to hassle me when I was younger because I like palm trees. But now they all want to buy my palm trees. And and Matt especially likes palms now. And now Matt is painting these amazing paintings of palm trees in California scenes. I like to think that it's a little bit because I got in his head for like 30, 40 years. 40 years? No, about 38 years. I met him when I was 13 at the Lair of the Bear. Whole nother story. But anyway, here's Matt's studio. I'm gonna have to get his permission to show this video. He might not want you guys to see this, but maybe he does. I don't know. He's all. I think I would presume that he's down to get some more paintings sold, and I'm presuming that might be the view from the Oakland Hills from his house where he grew up in. But that's just a guess because he took off to pick up his kid. Here's all his beautiful studio. Look at all these beautiful colors. Here's his inspiration he uses for some of his paintings. And more paint, and more paint. This is what you need. This is all the stuff you need as an artist. All kinds of beautiful paint brushes. But check out these cool paintings. There's lots of California-esque scenes, beautiful California palms and beach landscapes. Just basically the California dream. And here's the famous Hollywood sign there. That's obviously not finished, I don't think. Here's some beautiful verticality with Washingtonia palms that he loves so much now. And look at this. Look at that beautiful thing. Actually, I like this one better. This is kind of a twin, but it has a little more vibrant oranges and fiery colors in it. So that's what I'm into. But anyway, I'm up here at Matt's place. He lives in St. Helena, and we've planted a bunch of palms around his house, which is hidden over there. And suddenly Matt, I guess he decided that he needed more inspiration from my super awesome plants. So he had me drag up a bunch of cool stuff, and we just literally threw it out, random style. Let's go through the whole mix. You can see this whole scene here in this whole corner. Luckily, he has lots of huge boulders on this property. He can just go get them whenever he wants. Let's run through the mix. First and foremost, from South Africa, starring the tree aloe. Aloe, was it? This one's, there's a new name. It's Aloe Bainzai is the old name. Matt gave me a couple of beers before he left to pick up his kids, so my brain's not working so well. But I used to be called Aloe Bainzai, and I'll remember the old name or the new name pretty soon. And you got Agave mediopicta. This is all the classic subtropical California theme. Super cool plants. He already had a Mexican fan palm here. I'm going to plant 2 more down here to give him that big, long, vertical, in the sky feeling, because that thing will shoot up like a rocket. We have the incredible Agave Gingola. I think I have a video on this somewhere on my channel. You have to probably hunt for that. Search it. Calandrinia from Peru. And it's ugly now, but this will be a big, beautiful mound of silver. And it'll have the most beautiful purple flowers you can imagine. And even those you can't. I believe, don't quote me, but this is obviously in the bromeliad family. I believe it's a Hectia. I've been growing this plant and selling it for a long time. Somebody tell me what this is. I'll put a label on it, but I promise I won't lose the label and I won't ask again. But this is going to fill in front. You can see it has this beautiful golden glow to it. So it's going to become a big ground cover, if you can imagine that, in front of the Gingola. And we have a big Furcrea in the back that'll get huge. It'll fill this whole entire gap. It'll have this giant flower that goes up and bloom one year, probably like 5 years from now. The birds will love it. It will die. It will make tons of babies on that flower spike. And then you can, grow those. Or then you'll want to leave that flower spike right where it is. And then the birds will love it for many, many years before it falls over. And another super vigorous, the most vigorous tree aloe that we've ever come across in our nursery. And this one flowered on top. Now you can see it's multi-branching. It's gonna have 3 branches on top where there used to be 1. And that one, I don't know if it's a special seed strain or what, but this one is just, look how big it is. Like, for scale. Yeah, so anyway, but look at the beautiful pattern in there. You gotta really get close up and really appreciate the patterns on these plants. So we had some other plants in here. This is a rock rose from the Mediterranean. And here is a California native, Ceanothus. And these giant boulders are so beautiful. Okay, and then we have this is probably the centerpiece of the garden, the first plant that I planted. First plant that I placed is the Bismarckia nobilis from Madagascar. It should do fine here. It should get hot enough and as much sun, wants heat and sun. And it's pretty cold hardy to like 25 degrees. And we don't get that cold here because he's up on a big knoll in this oak forest. It's a blue oak forest. So because it's blue oak, you can tell it's hot and dry here. We have Agave foliifera with the beautiful little hairs in it. This will also fill in time. It'll send out pups in this area, and it'll be a massing ground cover someday, as will the Agave Mediopicta alba. You can see we chose the Agave Mediopicta alba because there is a Mediterranean fan palm behind it, dark green. We're going to cut off a lot of the foliage off this blue oak here to give the Mediterranean fan palm enough room. And you can see it's a beautiful triple, a really nice triple. So we have that positioned correctly so that the view from the driveway and the entrance is most benefited by. Then we have a really interesting agave. This is agave, it's not Bracteosa. I forget the name right now. Somebody help me. I wish you were here with me making the video and you can like whisper in my ear. But I'll remember that in a minute. But then we have Rosea ice plant. You can tell it's Rosea because there's a little Rosea right there. And what's beautiful about this is it's like crystalline. If you, on the sunshine, it'll actually look crystalline. Mesombranthemum from South Africa. These are obviously plants that we forgot about in the nursery. Look how big they are. I told Matt to cut some pieces off the side and fill in the gaps where we didn't have. This is a potluck special. This is what Gary is best at. Just grab a bunch of plants, bring them up, and then just go for it. No design, no, just wing it. It's freestyle. Beautiful crassula right here, and beautiful green coloration. And then beyond the green coloration of the crassula, you have the super silver Yucca rostrata with a nice big trunk. That's a very old plant. It's gonna have this beautiful texture right here going up. Of course, we have to take off all the marking tape, and that texture will echo the texture of the rock. They're very similar together, and a lot of these plants in nature will sprout next to rocks because there will be moisture that gets trapped under the rock. That's the only place that these plants can survive. And also, when it does rain or there's any kind of mist, the mist will run off the rock down here. There'll be a little extra critical moisture or even a shade pattern from the rock, and this will cause survivability for babies to come up. Babies, as we know, are, they're tough to get going, and so they need a little help to start with, and a rock, just simple rock can do that. I have a beautiful North American native Sabal palm right here. And I just brought this up. I didn't see this. I didn't even know where Matt was. I know the property really well. I've done a bunch of work at his house and here, there, and everywhere. But he kind of explained to me a little bit where he was going to do it, but we just winged it. But I realized I need like 6 more of these in here. Like this whole area, I'm going to bring up more Sabal palms. And over here we have the Dorianthus. I believe this is from New Zealand or Australia. I think it's New Zealand, right? Anyway, these will get huge. They'll get really big. They'll make side shoots, and they'll fill this whole entire area here. And what's beautiful about them is they look like they're really thorny, and they're not. And right now, I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy in California that has big Dorianthus palmarii. Palmarii, it looks like a palm, right? That's why they call it palmarii. And so we're gonna get some more of those. We decided that we have a beautiful booty palm, the beautiful booty palm, Boodia capitata. So it's a double though. Look, there's a little baby here. You can see we also face that so that the people coming in will have the most beautiful, angle of this plant. And it'll be beautiful because they're gonna light it. And it has this arching silver foliage, which is really reflective at night. And again, we have some more ceanothus. I mean, I love ceanothus. Look at that. Isn't that great? That was already here. So we're gonna keep that, obviously. Some butterfly bush back there, another type of ceanothus. But what else? We have a cow. The cow was already here. That was not my doing. And we have a plant called kalanchoe. This is a plant that I discovered on a drunken rampage as an 18-year-old through Isla Vista in Santa Barbara at UCSB. I was down there partying. I saw this plant growing under a big canary palm. And I thought, what the heck? This actually is not a good example. All these plants are gonna look way better when they're in the ground and they're filled out and they're happy. When they're at Golden Gate Palms Nursery, under my abusive conditions, this is what they look like. But once they're in the ground for a year, they'll be a completely different thing. It'll fill this whole entire area. And but anyway, I've never really seen this plant for sale in any nurseries. I saw it for sale once at one nursery, and I'm pretty sure they took cuttings from my nursery and sold it. But I have took cuttings when I was 18 years old on the drunken rampage. I grew it at my mom's house in Lafayette, and I've taken cuttings ever since from the very same cutting that I took originally. And so that's where these plants came from. That was exactly 33 years ago. So really, you're talking about the same plant from the drunken night. But anyway, it gets a pink flower, it gets a really big leaf. It looks much prettier once it's been in the ground, like I said. We have this, it's gonna fill out between the boulders, and that's pretty much the whole scene. Oh, here's a big, giant Aeonium cyclops. And again, at Golden Gate Palms Nursery, we like to slightly abuse our plants until they're planted. And then it makes for a really tough plant. It's tough to kill our plants. You take a plant from Monrovia under the beautiful shade house conditions. They look perfect when you get them. Then you put them out in real world conditions and they sulk at a minimum and oftentimes die. Not Golden Gate Palms plants. Golden Gate Palms plants are like homeless kids. You give them a nice home and they flourish. When they're at the nursery, they get abused. So that's how we find out if they're tough or not. If they're not tough, we don't want them. Here we go. Anybody know what that is? Tequila. That's right. That is agave tequiliensis. Matt likes tequila. So I told Matt, you need a couple tequila agaves. We decided to put them over here because they just didn't really seem to fit on that side. We already have a lot of agaves going on. I don't want to get too crowded. It's already a little bit chaotic. So they're going to go over here, and I think what we're going to do, we're going to follow up with a few plants. We have a Mediterranean fan palm over there. That's going to be the main centerpiece once the oak is trimmed. We also have a Mediterranean fan palm at the head of the driveway over here. Matt rescued this plant from somebody who wanted to get rid of it. That's like a $10,000 plant over there. Super beautiful. He did that all on his own without any hand holding by Gary Gregg. I was really surprised because I thought he'd call me for anything palms. Look at the backlit blue oak forest. That is so beautiful. So pretty up here. Anyway, not to get off track, but since we have on all three corners, well, two opposite corners, here and here, we have Mediterranean fan palm. I told Matt that we need a Mediterranean fan palm over here. That'll be dark green right in front of that rock. I told him to put some big boulders over here, put the blue agaves in front of them. They'll look really good. This will look incredible with some California native poppies against this blue color. The blue and the orange will look just striking. Well, and so that's what I told him to do. So that's pretty much the story. Now that I think about it, I think we need another Mediterranean fan palm right here. That's a naked spot. So that will be the plant of repetition. But anyway, hopefully I'll start seeing some paintings from Matt that move beyond the Washingtonia robusta, which is so emblematic of California. And only because they planted it many, many years ago in California. And now people like me are bringing up all kinds of interesting things like Bismarckia. So we're creating a whole new paradigm and culture here in California. And so hopefully we'll see that in Matt's paintings. But if you want some really amazing paintings, it's mattrogersart.com. They're not cheap, but they're amazing. So they're worth every single penny. You'll be stoked to get one of those and put them on your wall. And then you can be like, yeah, I know Matt Rogers, Gary Gregg's buddy, the artist. Look, here's this painting on my wall. And that'll make you cool. And you heard it here first.